Well, hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for coming, for logging on. This is our treasurer meeting, our treasurer training for this year. I'm Amy. I'm the current Louisiana State PTA treasurer for this year. And this is my first year with the board, with the state board. And I've been with PTA for now 5 years. So I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. And Beth is here. She is Louisiana State PTA president.
Yeah, I'm the current president, and I am on my final and last 18th year of PTA, I think. I want to hear who the other two are. Who are y'all with? If you can.
I'm Tiffany McKibben. I am treasurer at Monteleone Junior High. And this is my 13th, or wait, I'm sorry. This is like my 8th year on PTA, I believe. But this is my first year serving as treasurer. So.
Good job.
And I'm a with North Highlands. I'm the treasurer. We are a new PTA, but we were PTO prior. So this is my third or fourth year PTA.
Awesome.
Glad you're here.
Glad you're both here. So I'm just going to go through. Have y'all familiarized yourself with the Louisiana PTA site? There's tons of good information there. Beth has compiled and kept this so organized, and she's got tons of information, tons of resources, tons of videos, tons of links, tons of information, lots of step-by-step. But always, if you have any questions or you need anything, you can always email me. I'm treasurer@louisianapta.org, or you can email Beth. She's a great source of information. And we're both always, any one of us are here to help you. So I just wanted to kind of go over just some basic things. I think treasurer is probably one of the more important things, like record keeping. They are responsible for all of the funds that come in and out for the PTA. So obviously that's a huge task, or huge responsibility. Hopefully not too big of a task, but there's several things that were important to keep you organized and on track. And like I said, all that information is on the website. Hello, Irene. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Were any of you at training, or were you not at training?
I was at training.
Okay.
And I was at training.
Okay.
I was also at training. And,
Okay,
and
great.
thank you for welcoming me.
So if y'all were all at training, Amy, if I can interrupt you real quick, you might want to sort of figure out if there are questions or struggles and go more specifically into that instead of doing the, general information of explaining things. I don't know,
That's
whatever
what I was
y'all want to
thinking.
do.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. If they were all at training, do y'all have any questions or any issues that you're looking for answers for?
I signed on because I do have a couple questions.
Okay, great.
One is that I've tried to update the Secretary of State form. I have not tried in the last couple weeks, but I tried a couple times. I think Amy, you may have emailed me back, but it wouldn't let me. And I think you said that maybe my form is not ready to be updated yet. Is that usually like you can only do that at the year deadline, or do I need to look into?
So do you know when your annual report expires? It should have a date on there. It's like good until or last date filed. Do you know what that is?
For the annual report or the Secretary of State? I think they're both in October. So that's why I'm wondering if I have not gone on in the last week or so, so I should try again maybe. But I did try at the beginning of September for
Okay.
Secretary of State.
So if it doesn't have automatically available the update annual report, so it's the same thing, the annual report at the Secretary of State GoBiz website. If it doesn't have that link automatically for you, then it winds up being like an amendment to update your officers, and then it might
Okay.
charge you differently. So, but also getting it so that it's on schedule. I mean, if it's October, then that's kind of still on schedule. But if it's
Okay.
like March, then it would be worthwhile to file an amendment and then to get those dates where it would in the future start wanting to be renewed in the beginning of the school year. So
Okay.
see if you can find it. Have you seen the video I made of how to update the report? Okay.
I tried, I
Okay.
did try to follow that, and that's where I got an error. I kept getting an error message about there was no form for me to update, but it has our old officers and not our new officers.
Okay. It might
So I
be
did,
filing an amendment versus updating the
Okay.
annual report.
okay,
And then I think they're also really good, the Secretary of State, about answering questions. I think there's a little chat button on there.
okay,
So you
Okay.
might want to just sort of ask them, I'm trying to update my officers, but I don't have, it's not saying, it's not due yet. So can this only be done through an amendment, or how do I update my report?
okay,
Because I believe one is $75 and one is 10.
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
And then my other one is just a general, how does petty cash work? We're about to have our first dance, and I don't know how to like, yeah. I mean, I know what it is, but I don't know how to keep that in my records, and then, yeah, how we get petty cash out and then put it back in the bank and all that.
You want to answer that, Amy? You want me to do it?
You can answer.
I'm sorry. I'm always like, I got the answer. So for petty cash, so one of the rules is we're not supposed to write a check out to cash.
Okay,
But the only way to get cash out of the bank is frequently to write a check out to cash. That's what, if you
Okay.
go to the bank teller is going to say, write a check out to cash. So
Mhm.
that is what you would do. You need to have cash. You have to do that. So the attached receipt and explanation, there'll be the receipt of the transaction at the bank, but then the explanation is going to be petty cash for the dance. So,
Okay.
and then having those 2 authorized signatures on that form for that cash withdrawal from the bank account to just document why you were getting cash out and for what reason. And then
Okay.
you would have the money come back in for the dance, the money that you put into the deposit to the bank account, and then perhaps you keep some money on hand. I don't know if y'all have that need or not. For other petty cash situations, you could keep money, hold on to some of it for future needs if you have that need, and you would just sort of document that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we did. We used to have Snack Fridays, and it was weekly. And so, each Friday we would just keep the petty cash, back in the safe or in the place where we kept the cash and keep that separate. And then once we did deposit it back, I kept it separate so that I could see my withdrawal was for petty cash, X amount of dollars, and then that deposit matched it. So the when I put it back, I didn't just put it with the deposit with the other cash. I've deposited it separately just so I would have a record of, the petty cash going back in. And so I'd have kind of an accurate count too of, the snack money separate.
So you could have a
Okay.
line item that is petty cash.
Okay. So when say I get, I don't even know how much, say I get $100 out of petty cash. So then after the dance, when we're selling concessions, we may make like $50. So then when I put it back in, I would put the $100 back in for petty cash. We only have 2 dances. Like, I think I want to put the petty cash back in and then do that again, maybe in the spring. So then I would put the $100 back in, and then I would put the $50 separate as a deposit.
That's one way to do it. If you only have 2 events, then it might make more sense to not have a separate petty cash line item, and then you would just have the dance. Your first expense is going to be that petty cash withdrawal,
Okay, okay.
and then you'll have the deposit of the full amount. So it'll credit
Whatever's
back.
left plus however much we made. Okay.
Yeah, so you could keep that just within the event line item as well.
Okay,
There's some people who need like petty cash every week.
right.
So maybe
Okay.
it makes sense to have that separated. However it works best. You could, that's sort of one of two ways of doing it.
Okay.
Does that cover everything?
I think so.
How about give backs? Does anybody have any give backs questions? Have y'all tried to pay dues or any of that? How's that working?
I
Thank you.
choose to get paid dues. I actually like give backs. I haven't had any problems as of today. We actually have our first dance we've been promoting on give backs, and it actually ended a couple minutes ago. But it has worked really good with people purchasing their ticket for our back to school dance for tomorrow that we're preparing for. And I like it.
And they can do a QR code for entry for tickets too. Are you doing that part of it?
We did. Well, we're not going to scan the QR code for because it's during the day. It's during
okay.
our dance school day during the enrichment time. So we do more day dances. So literally, like when they bought the ticket, it said about a ticket, and it lets the parent know when they pay for it, your child will receive their wristband day of the dance. So like
Okay.
we have like the wristbands already with the kid's name on it. Export the list of the kids' names, grades. We had all that listed. Super easy to set up and maneuver through as well. So we already have all of that printed out,
Okay,
ready
good.
to go. Really easy.
Good. And Irene, how about you?
I am mostly here just to try to gather as much information as possible because I feel completely out of my element since I've never done this before, and our PTA just kind of got off the ground last year. So
Which
they're
PTA?
also everybody else is still learning too. So it's kind of Shada Ema,
Oh, okay.
which Naomi's great, but she's still learning too. So it's kind of like I don't know if everything was done to a T last year. Because like with and some of these things kind of throw me off a little bit because I can't find examples of them, and I don't know if maybe I'm just overlooking it. But like for the audit report, and then there's the budget report, and then the annual, and also getting the annual budget, and I'm kind of like having a hard time knowing what the difference is in all these things. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So we'll get into what you just talked about, but before we do, one of the things that I'm trying to figure out right now is how to do QuickBooks for free for nonprofits. Are you using MoneyMinder, Tiffany, or do y'all using?
So what was passed on to me was just an Excel sheet, but I really want to use a money management tool. So we don't currently have anything in our budget for MoneyMinder. I looked into ways, but yeah, I would be very interested if we had a free QuickBooks.
Okay, so I literally just purchased yesterday through TechSoup, which is the sort of clearinghouse for nonprofits to use to get free offers from different companies. I have it linked on our /resources page. They offer QuickBooks Online Plus for nonprofits, and it's $80 a year. Now, Amy thinks that you can get QuickBooks for nonprofits for free, but what I don't know is if you can have a custom budget on the free version. Do you know that yet, Amy?
Yeah, I don't know. And I tried to look for it too. Someone had mentioned it at Shreveport training and I wasn't able to find it either.
Okay, so
So,
I've been in touch with that person. And still trying to figure out, I just emailed her today. So I'm trying to figure out if they're, because they do QuickBooks for free, and she said she got it through TechSoup. So I don't know if there was a previous deal through TechSoup that let you get it for free and now it's $80 so I'm trying to figure those out.
Yeah.
When I do figure that out, I'm going to email certainly all the treasurers to clarify that, because MoneyMinder's gone up to $300 a year, which in the scheme of things is not bad, but I don't like to spend money if we don't have to when it comes to PTAs. $80 a year is way more manageable if we can figure out QuickBooks, but I was having trouble figuring out how to set up the budget, and they separate it out where it's all of the income in one section and then all the expenses in the other. So you have to reformat your budget, where I'm used to having, fundraiser, this is our gross income, here's our expense, and here's our net, all on the same line. So I'm in the process of figuring that out, but I will be sharing that once I do. I actually currently have linked on the, where did I put it? I put it on I think I put it on the treasurer's page, and I do have it on the resource page. The link to get QuickBooks for $80 through TechSoup. But I'm still trying to figure out how to make it work, because it's like a whole new platform of figuring out how to customize it and set it up. And I know MoneyMinder, but I don't know QuickBooks. So that is coming. So, and then Irene, the other thing you were talking about, just sort of knowing the basics and all of the things. I'm being too overbearing on your meeting, Amy. So the difference between, Amy, let's see if you can do this. The annual report, which is Secretary of State. Actually, there's two. There's an annual report with the Secretary of State. There's also supposed to be an annual report of the PTA's finances. There's the audit report, that is the review of the previous year and where that is. And then there's the budget report, which is the budget for the year, and then the budget for each month as you're going through. So that's sort of where your questions are, Irene, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to try and hit that one up, Amy?
Yeah. So Secretary of State, you're going to update at gobiz.com. And you'll update that annually. You'll update the your board on there, and that's only updatable annually. So if it tells you that, we were just talking about this, if it tells you like it's not ready for the report, you'll need to find the date like that it was good through. And if it's coming up like soon, it's okay. You can go ahead and wait till that date and then update it. But if it's way out of whack, like with our fiscal year, you might need to file an amendment to get it back on track. I know a couple of PTAs are kind of out of date on that. It costs a little bit more, but it's worth updating to get on the right track with the date, because that's going to be part of your affiliation report as well.
Now, let me also add that I don't know that if you file an amendment, if it resets the date, it still might keep that original expiration date of later.
Oh, I thought
I'm
it
not
did.
sure.
Oh.
I'm not sure if it does or not. I'm not sure.
So you said update the Secretary of State. What is that called? Or is it just?
So if you go to the affiliation page, louisianapta.org/affiliation.
Okay.
We list the 7 things that are needed, and there's a direct link on there to the GoBiz site.
Okay.
There's also a video that you can watch on how to update it, because it's a little confusing. You can create an account. You don't have to have the previous account that was used to log in. So I try to create a how-to, because every time I go, it's like, okay, well, it's just not easy. Okay, go.
I think then too, it's going to be filing with the tax was going to be an issue, right? If to fix the date for the affiliation, to fix the fiscal year.
Wait,
Was
say that
that
again?
connected? You said filing the amendment wouldn't fix the date. So would that be like the filing with the IRS?
No, I mean, it wouldn't necessarily reset the renewal date to when you file the amendment for the annual report with the Secretary of State. If your fiscal year is off, we do have somebody who has a fiscal year that's set at January to December.
Yeah.
They need to update that with the IRS. So that's a separate issue.
Okay. Okay.
So you want to get into the other reports? Yeah.
Yeah, so then, next was what, the budget report? Or the budget, creating the
That's fine.
budget?
Yep. It's all, they're all, all the reports. Ah, like I said, I'm like, it's like a foreign language to me.
I know. So the budget is gonna be created, you're gonna have like a committee, create your budget for the year. And then, get it approved with your, general membership. And then you'll follow that, also with your active affiliation. And then, so each month then you're going to like compare, like if you're tracking it in MoneyMinder, or whatever software you're using for accounting, you're gonna track and compare like what has been spent to what was allocated in the budget.
Okay. And this is for this coming up year, like like what we spent last year and then what we're planning to spend this year.
Well, you can use like what you spent last year as kind of reference to decide or to be able to budget. How much was spent last year, you kind of give you an idea going forward, what you want to budget, for the current year.
Okay.
Well, your budget's going to run from July 1st
See the screen.
to June.
So I'm sharing, this is our MoneyMinder account for LAPTA. And you go in and create a budget. So you can create sections if you want to group like things. And so like our first section is income. And I have dues from the local units, and then the amount that we pay out to National PTA is the expense. Friends of LAPTA are our sponsorships. We have an investment fund that we can transfer from if we do a fundraiser, et cetera. So we have our estimated budgeted income that we are just in the beginning of the year kind of guessing. We can use the previous information, or we just sort of have to guess make our best guess of how much we're going to bring in and then what the expense might be for each category. So if I have like a fun run and I'm hoping we bring in $10,000, we know that our expense based on our contract is going to be $4,000. I would have that as my expense, and then it would have my budget net in this final column would be $6,000.
Okay. And this is the budget report.
Yeah, so you have to create the budget. So this is the annual budget. You have your different categories. You should have an administrative category as well. Every budget has to have a startup funds line item. So we have that here. I'm making sure I'm saying that correctly. I am. The startup funds is going to be a random amount that the PTA can spend before their annual budget is approved by their general membership. Because you start spending money before your budget is approved. So it is just a random amount you're authorized to spend before a budget's approved. You don't actually use this line item. You have it in your budget as an expense and as an income so that there's a net zero impact on the budget. And it's just a placeholder annotation for next year. When we start up, we're allowed to spend this $1,500 before our budget's approved.
So like if you're going to order shirts or something in the summer, you can put that in there. And then, but you're also going to have your shirts is going to be your line item where the money is actually going out and coming in.
So we
It's
have
just
like the training expenses here where we're ordering our t-shirts. We're expecting to spend $1,600. Now, of course, my numbers aren't making sense, but they're not equal. But that would be an example. Like I know I'm going to have the teacher welcome luncheon and we're budgeting that we're going to spend $800. And then I'm going to have these different things that are probably going to happen early in August. You're going to make sure that those early expenses are going to be calculated in that startup fund amount.
Okay.
So that is the annual proposed budget that the PTA creates to try and list out all the things that the PTA does during the year. Then if you use MoneyMinder or something similar, you can have a report. Most of them will have this, the income and expense. It's compared to the annual budget. So if I click on this one, it's going to show me how much money we've actually had come in on this first line item. It shows me our actual income, but what we budgeted to come in, our actual expense versus our budgeted expense, how much we've actually made, and then how much we hope we will make, and the difference between those two amounts. So this is the actual to budgeted report that you want to have at all of your meetings so that everybody knows how much they've spent in a certain category, and if they're staying on budget. If there's needs to amend the budget because there's a new need or something has changed, you can always amend the budget with a 2/3 vote before the general membership.
And there's no because I couldn't find, I found templates for like some printable ones, but I didn't find any templates for spreadsheets for the budgets, and I'm assuming they just don't have.
No, I don't have a budget template because it's so specific to the PTA.
Okay.
And I kind of would rather PTAs have this kind of software where their finances are tracked rather than a spreadsheet, because I have, for example, all of these previous years that we've been using MoneyMinder. I can access all of our all of our finances for all of the years. So the accountability and that multiple people have this shared to them, and it keeps the running total. So we have our checking account register where we enter in all the information and add the budget line item. That's something. So like on this one, it's saying what I did, what this expense goes to, so that it automatically populates it in the budget to keep track of all of that.
I have a quick question because I also feel very uncomfortable just using a spreadsheet just because my name's personally attached to it now. But are we able to go ahead and use the QuickBooks, because $80 is definitely more doable, so we can go ahead and use that?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. You have to create an account through TechSoup first. So
Okay.
it validates that you have a nonprofit.
Okay.
If your PTA name is PTA Louisiana Congress with the IRS on your taxes, if that's what the official name of the PTA is, and then you have like a different DBA of what your PTA name actually is, TechSoup has trouble with that.
Yeah, I don't think we are. I'm
Okay.
PTA for 2 schools, and I feel like one school is and one school is not. But
Okay.
I don't think the junior high is PTA Congress.
Okay, so I have directions on our president page and maybe still on the home page and on the resource page on how to update your PTA name with the IRS, because
Okay.
it creates so much trouble. We don't have to have it that way anymore. It used to be the way they tracked all of it. So I really want everybody to update their name to what it actually is with the PTA.
Okay.
I mean, with the
Okay.
IRS. That's one thing. So then 2 is TechSoup. If you have that name difference, then you might have to contact them. It's going to make the process of approval a little bit longer, but you can figure it out and just talk to them to see what they need from you to be able to do that. Or I think the other way to avoid it is that you just say that your name is PTA Louisiana Congress. And then
Okay.
include maybe your PTA, your actual name after that. Now we are PTA Louisiana Congress, Louisiana PTA. So I don't know if it's going to kick it back. It creates trouble. So just push through it, persevere, create an account. You can go ahead and create that account now. The links are on the resource page for the QuickBooks discount. And what I haven't been able to figure out yet is how to adjust the categories of the budget. So I need somebody who knows QuickBooks to do a how-to. They have lots of videos and support things in there, and I just started doing that earlier today. So I see how to add the numbers, but it's not showing me how to edit the categories. And you can import an Excel spreadsheet. I just haven't done it yet. There's a lot there on how to learn.
I did have I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off if you're
No,
still.
that's all right.
No, I was gonna throw out, I don't know what the difference is or how it works, but I know with QuickBooks, you can open an account as a bookkeeper and it's a free QuickBooks account. You don't have to pay because they want bookkeepers to use their software. But I mean, I don't know like what the difference would be between the one you're paying $80 a year for. Not that $80 is a whole lot anyway, but that is something to look forward to. But yeah, it's not very user friendly when I've looked at it, and there is a lot of training videos to go through.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole
Maybe-
thing. I'm trying to figure it out. I want somebody to help me. I'm trying to see if I've heard back. I haven't heard back yet from the PTA that's currently using it for free.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
and
you
then-
had a preference, MoneyMinder would be your preference. It's just easier to, especially if you're like new to Treasure.
Right. It's
little
very, it was
intimidated.
made by a PTA person. She
Okay.
started the company and so she like knew our process. So it's like set up for us to, and it's just simpler. Whereas QuickBooks, there's like 20 things and I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
Okay. And it
And I
can
would
help
just-
you file taxes and everything.
it can. They do the 990 EZ, which is already, no, I'm sorry, 990N, which you can file for free and is very easy to do if you're less than 50,000. And I think they
Mhm.
now do the Form EZ, 990 EZ as well. Although there are other free platforms that I have linked on the Treasurer page. I think it's File 990 EZ or I don't know, something. I have it linked on the Treasurer page so that you don't have to pay to file it as well. But yeah, MoneyMinder will let you do it through their platform. And you can generate your taxes with a button in MoneyMinder, but you have to specify in your budget what line item in your taxes your budget applies to. So you kind of have to know already what you're doing before you can just, unfortunately, click that button and have it done for you. And
And I would
Irene, did
say
we?
too,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say too, like what she's thinking about using, if you're thinking about starting to use like a software, I would just kind of think with the future in mind, because if you use QuickBooks, it would be best to stay with whatever you decide to use, because like she said, we have the records, from year to year. And that's
Right.
also like a digital record keeping copy too. So if you change from year to year, you're not going to have that consistency or like your record keeping.
Right. I'm leaning more when
That makes-
like user friendly. I mean, part of the problem is that we're only at the school for 2 years as well. And it feels like we just get a whole new board every single year. So I want something that's more consistent from year to year to save the records than just passing on a spreadsheet. And I feel like everybody does it a little different. I would love, anyway. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
You're
it's
talking me
been
into
MoneyMinder. I've been a big pusher
Okay.
of MoneyMinder, but then they went up to $299 this year. So I'm kind of like, I think I need to find.
Yeah.
So it's pushing me over to QuickBooks, but it's not as simple and
That's
I haven't been able to put my teeth into it yet, but I'm trying.
Okay.
And then Irene, did we cover all the reports yet? What was the other one?
I think
Y'all
we didn't do the audit report.
Yeah, y'all
Oh, the
did
audit
budget
report.
is what we talked about, or doing the annual budget. Yeah, annual budget. I don't know if we did the budget report. I think you, or is it? I mean, I guess it's connected because you have to do the annual budget and then.
Okay, so the annual budget is just going to be that one that I showed where this is what we're thinking our income's going
Right.
to be and what our expenses are going to be.
Mhm.
The annual report for the treasurer is another financial report that probably very few treasurers actually do. We did do it at the training event in Caddo. Let me open that up real quick and I'm going to show you what the annual report is. The annual report is basically the summary. Oops, I opened the wrong thing. The summary of all of your income, all of your expenses, your starting balance and your ending balance.
But it's different from the budget report. The annual report and the budget report are two separate things, or is it the same?
So, hang on, let me open it up. So each year, you should be giving a review at the beginning of the year of what the PTA did the previous year.
Okay.
So
And
it's gonna
that's
be
often
actual.
forgotten.
Yeah.
I have to leave, but I'll email y'all with questions. This was really helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
I have to
Yeah,
go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm getting it open. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so this is the sort of an expanded annual report, this first chart right here, where I'm saying, so for Louisiana PTA, we started out July 1, 2024 with 20,421 in the bank account. We had $79,157 for income. We spent 65,110, and our ending balance was 34,468. So that's one way of saying the annual report from the treasurer for the PTA for the previous year. Just doing starting balance, income, expense, ending balance. I have additionally in here the totals for each of our main budgetary sections of how we used to have the budget. We had a more expanded budget previously. So that would be the annual report that you could give at the PTA meeting, basically when you're getting your budget approved, the new budget for the current year. So summary of the old year, and then you present the new budget of what you're expecting to do for the year and get the PTA to approve it. So that's the time when if a person says, we would like for the PTA to pay for the office windows to be tinted and a concrete pad to be poured underneath the dumpster at the school. It's going to cost $8,000. Well, that's the kind of thing that you could put before your general membership and say, is this the kind of thing that you would like for our PTA money to go to? And they can vote on that and say, no, we would not like our money to go toward those things. We would rather that be something that the school would pay for, because that's not something that we see as benefiting the students and teachers. So that's sort of the opportunity and the time for the PTA to be able to say, this is what we're going to spend our money on. We want to make sure that you're okay with it. And they approve that budget that I had shown earlier.
Okay.
The
Another
annual
thing I always
report.
like to do at the beginning of the meetings too is read the mission statement. I know I learned that from Beth. So we did that with state PTA. It's read our mission statement, and it keeps everybody focused on things like that. Like she said, stuff like that's going to come up. And so.
And then
I just
this
wanted to add
is
that.
a summary of our proposed budget that for state, the board, the rules for how the budget is approved for state are different from the local PTA. We actually approve that within our own board, but I did still present and share the budget for the general membership that we had at our meeting in Caddo at training. So this is an example. I split it. I mean, usually it's not split between these two columns, but I was trying to squish it and fit it on the page together. So this would be like us saying, here's our proposed budget of what we're wanting to spend our money on. And they could, in theory, say you're spending too much money on Kit Christmas. You have $800. What is that? Well, that's money that we are actually donating for the kids in transition, homeless kids, and the different school parishes that we would like to be able to make a donation. Well, maybe somebody objects to it, et cetera, et cetera. So those are those things. And then the audit report is going to be a group of non-authorized bank signers. So people who are not authorized on the account from the previous year or the current year, who are going to take the PTA books with the receipts and the expense forms and go through and compare all of the totals on the bank statement and compare that to all the expenses and income that have the receipts and are in the treasurer's files. Files can be digital or paper. but they have to be able to be accessed and shared and held accountable if they're digital. So
Okay.
we have on the treasurer's toolkit a page that had or information on the audit report itself. And it has the directions on how to do those totals. The information that would go on that report is actually entered directly into givebacks on the audit report. So you don't actually upload that form, you just enter in the information for each line number that's numbered on that report. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
I think so. That's on givebacks,
Yeah, you want me to share that?
if you don't mind.
Why won't it let me share that? Hang on.
And that'll be due with your active affiliation report.
Okay.
All right, so let's look at Shana. If you come into your givebacks page, the login is npo.givebacks.com. If you're registered with Louisiana PTA, which /register page, I add those officers to give you authorization to your givebacks account. If you're authorized on your account, you can also come in here under compliance update officers and add or delete or update any of this information as well. The
Okay.
president, co-president, and treasurer have access to all the financial transfers, et cetera, within the givebacks page. So under compliance, submit forms is where you go. And these are the 7 reports that are detailed on that /affiliation page. So y'all have already submitted and had approved your bylaws form. Your Secretary of State annual filing was done and your insurance is done.
Okay.
This one was started but was not submitted yet. So on the audit report form, if you click that form, you would come in, okay. So you put in the dates for your audit, the range of check numbers. So these are all questions that are on that form. If there was anything that exceeded a budget line item, so they're supposed to stay within their budget. Did anything exceed the budget line items? Are there any checks that did not have 2 authorized signatures that were unique from the payable to name? And then it starts getting into the date for the audit report. It's usually July 1st through June 30. You have a total of all the deposits. If there were any outstanding deposits, et cetera. It sort of works through this information. So it'll make more sense when you go to it. So you enter in your numbers here. And then on the report, line 5, which is the totals, should be the ending balance based on the treasurer's files compared to the ending balance based on the bank statements. Do those 2 amounts equal each other? They should be the same. So if they do, you click yes. The date of the audit report.
Information, right? This is just, we're doing
I'm sorry.
this. I'm sorry. And this is based on last year.
Yes.
Right?
Okay. 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 That's what all right. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's based on last year, or if there's a bank signer that resigns or leaves, then you would also do an audit at that point. So it can happen during the year if there's a change in who's authorized on the account.
Okay. As far as the receipts that we need to keep for everything, because I'm coming in new and last year they were just getting off the ground. If there are any receipts that I cannot find for whatever reason, can I use the bank statements? Or is there another way for me to do that?
You know the answer, Amy?
If you don't have a receipt, you just have an explanation of what the expense was.
Okay.
Just write in the best information you can find.
Okay.
Receipt was lost, but the money was spent for this.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure of that, because as I was looking through trying to do some of this reporting for last year's. I was having trouble finding some of the receipts, and it could just be that I've overlooked them because I'm still learning where everything is. But I just wanted to get that clarified too. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And so for the audit report, has to be done by, it can't be a previous bank signer or a current bank signer. So it has to be somebody who's
Okay.
not
Okay.
been on the
You
account.
can prepare it and get it put together and then have 3 other people who are not authorized on the account go through it
Review.
and approve it.
Okay. Yeah, I think the secretary is supposed to be doing it officially, but I mean, I got to get all the information for her, basically.
Right. What was I going to say? I was going to say, shoot. Oh, try and track down receipts if you're missing them. So it's a really good practice for the treasurer to actually do this every month during the year as you're going through, to go back and see, am I missing any receipts? What do I need? And getting with your officers or whoever spent the money to get those receipts. Because
Okay.
if you wait a year, it's really difficult to do it then.
Yeah.
Where the purpose of the audit is to look for fraud versus good or bad record keeping. So if there's bad record keeping, that is not fraud. There's a difference.
Right.
So that just means, okay, things weren't done the way they should have been done last year. This is the best we can do. And now this year, this is where we are and the things that we're going to do a better job at keeping these records.
Okay.
The probably biggest trouble that a PTA can get in is when they don't track their expenses and have receipts for everything. So if the treasurer is not doing these monthly reports and reading this information and keeping track of everything, and they aren't able to say, this is exactly how we have spent our money and made our money, you're going to run into trouble.
Okay.
So having all of that very visible and plain for everybody to see in black and white, this is the money we have and we need to stay on budget, especially when you have multiple people spending money in these different areas and they think they've got all this money. Well, if your fundraiser didn't make what you thought it did, then you need to start adjusting
Okay.
so that you don't get into trouble and keep everything on the up and up.
Okay.
And one thing you can do too is like monthly print out your bank statements. Have that somebody review it, like your treasurer, your president should be reviewing the bank statement, but also having somebody who's not on the account review it and sign it. That I think is part of the insurance. A good practice to do that too.
Insurance companies will say, if somebody reports fraud, the first thing they're going to ask is, was somebody reviewing your bank account, your bank statements every month and signing them? And if they weren't, then I don't know if they can deny a claim or not, but that's why we say that, because insurance companies want somebody reviewing the bank statements every month. It can be a digital signature. If you're keeping digital files, that's fine. But here's our bank statement at your monthly meeting. Here's the reconciliation report. Here's my budget, where we are with the budget, having all that out for everybody to see, and is number one best practice.
Okay. And when you say review the bank statements, is that just like, what are we looking for? We're just, is it just basically just looking at it and making sure nothing looks out of sorts?
Some of them, not all, but the point is really to look at the checks.
Just have more eyes on it, I guess, too.
Yeah, but to see like if they have the check images included with the bank statement, then they can see, okay, well, there's a check that was written out to Beth and it's signed by Beth and it's for $10,000.
Okay.
Okay, what is she doing here? What's going on? What's the receipt? Why are there not 2 signatures? Why, you can't have the 2 signatures cannot be who the check is made out to. So it's sort of looking for things like that. Now, if it's not on the bank statement, then it's very hard to see what's actually going on.
Okay. Yeah.
And what I always did too is I always reconciled and compared. That's when I took like all my expense sheets and my deposits, and I made sure I had everything that was on the bank statement. I made sure I had that and I had a receipt. That way you could stay on top of things too.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So PTA people can oftentimes be very nice and loving and giving, and they don't maybe want to rock the boat and be like, hello, I'm not gonna, you need to give me your receipt. So I do my best to give Amy the receipt the moment I spend money.
Okay.
And when I say receipt, I mean the whole expense form. We do have a fillable PDF online that sometimes the formatting for the PDF doesn't stay with it, but if you have trouble, you can email me. I think, Amy has it too. We email one of us to just say the fillable PDF isn't working right. Can you send it to me directly? If you're
I
doing,
found if I save it, then it works right to upload the pictures or whatever, and then I just resave it again, which is another step, but
okay.
Okay. Yeah, I printed them out just to have, so I know what they look like, but I hadn't tried filling them in, so I don't know how well it works or not, but I'll try the saving it first.
are y'all
See how-
keeping records digital, or do you have a binder?
Both right now, anyway, we have Google, my brain.
Google Drive.
Yes, Google Drive. And that's shared with everyone on the PTA board. So we can all see that. But I also have a binder. And so I'm like, I don't know, like, am I supposed to just print everything and keep it in the binder? Like, I don't know. So yeah.
That's what I would recommend. I'm a paper person too, so if you
Yeah.
keep it like the current year, you can keep in your binder, and then if you want to, like after the year's over, you could just scan everything and upload it all and keep it that way. But it's good to have both.
Okay, good. Well, then
And I'm not a paper person. I like everything digital. I don't want to have any paper. No. So it's all in my digital files, but you need to make sure that those files are backed up on a physical drive, backed up on Google Drive, shared with multiple people, that there's lots of ways of accessing that information. Knowing that there's going to be a transition when somebody else comes over and takes it from you, and openly sharing with everybody, all of the officers, all the information.
Okay.
There's
I
nothing
think they
worse.
say the retention is what, 9 years to keep all that, all the backup?
It depends on what it is. So we actually have it on the secretary's page. So I think emails are a year, and then the next level is 3 years. There's some for 7 years, there's some for 10 years, and there's some for infinity.
Wow.
So it depends on what it is. Yeah.
Very good.
That's how we end up with boxes of stuff. And you
You're
inherit
correct.
boxes
You're
of stuff.
Which is why I'm going digital, because it's too much. Louisiana PTA should have 103 years worth of minutes from the meetings, for example. We do not have all of the minutes, but I'm scanning in all of the old stuff that we had so that we have the digital version, and I don't need to keep a piece of paper for those things.
Yeah, that's understandable. That's a lot of stuff. Okay.
But yeah, like I said, there's a ton of information and a ton of resources, a ton of ideas. Like you'll get inspired, you'll get fired up, you'll be ready to be excited about the year. But there's a ton of information on the website. Beth has all put on there. And then, if you have any questions or whatever, always feel free to reach out to me or to Beth.
Okay.
Here to
Thank you.
help.
I do have a summary on the treasurer's page that says, I don't know, get organized or something like that. Like
Mhm.
when you
Okay.
start
It's
out,
like
make
a
sure you have all
checklist.
this done, and then
I think I have that printed out somewhere.
Yeah,
I'll
there's
have
a checklist.
papers.
LouisianaPTA.org/treasurer.
Yes, I've been all over that because I printed out the toolkit, and then I still have my packet from the in-person training too. So
Okay.
I just have trouble. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble, but I have trouble like connecting the dots, I guess is what it is.
Yeah.
When I saw all the different reports, I'm like, I need a visual of like what that looks like. I need to be able to click on it and go, okay, that's what that looks like. And that's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, getting started and figuring that all out. And the other thing, just to add real quick about give backs, if your membership person is different from an officer and they would like to be able to make those financial transfer payments to submit dues to LAPTA, as a membership chair, they don't have that authority. But your PTA can decide, the officers can decide, all right, we're going to sort of create this new officer on give backs under compliance update officers. That is for your membership chair, but they're going to be called either the treasurer, president, or co-president. If they're given that title, then they'll be able to do it. Because there are some membership chairs who have to wait on somebody else to submit those dues, and they're not getting them in by the end of the month when they want to because of our membership challenges. So if that's something that the PTA wants to do, the PTA can do that,
Okay.
if that
But
makes
they would
sense.
just have to call it treasurer or president because the only treasurer and president could submit give backs.
Well, no, I'm saying to create sort of a fake officer position for that person, labeling them as
Call it,
president, co-president, or treasurer to
The
give them that
treasurer.
access.
right.
Okay.
Y'all can decide if that's something you want to do or not.
Okay. What would the benefit be to doing that? Just so that,
That membership chair can pay the dues to Louisiana PTA.
okay.
So let me share this. So on your page, if you go to memberships, wait, under memberships and click remit state dues. So right now y'all owe $126. So I am not your president or treasurer. So if I click, how do I pay? It tells me I have to be the president or treasurer.
Okay. So I
Whereas-
guess just one less thing that we're responsible for, basically.
Yeah, and it just sort of depends if your membership chair is trying to meet these award challenges for the month and the treasurer and the president are slow to be able to do that or not available, that kind of thing. If you want to be able to give that membership person, you go for it. Get it done in time when you want to, then they can.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I'll pass that information on.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
I'm looking over my notes and I'm trying to make sure I have it clear in my head, but I don't know if it's just the way I wrote this out, but and I know I asked, but I don't remember what the answer was for some reason. The annual report and the audit report. The annual report obviously is yearly. The audit report, is that also yearly, or is that something that would be, okay, so that is a yearly one also. Okay, so they're both
That's the
yearly.
one we just talked about. And if she said if like a signer leaves, you would do it again.
Yes.
It's just a reconciliation of, hey, are we still on track? Do we still have? And it's
Right.
kind of a marker like,
Okay. So it's
Like-
just a reconciliation done at a different
Yeah,
time. basically.
it's checking to it's looking for fraud.
Okay. Okay. All right then. I think I got all that.
Amy's
Thank
here for you, treasurer at louisianapta.org.
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Irene.
Yes. Y'all have a great day.
You
Okay,
too.
you too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.